You're listening to the Millionaires Day Off, where people come to unlock their full potential and start achieving their goals. Now, here's your host, Tyler Kaysen.
What's going on, everybody? It's Tyler here again with the Millionaires Day Off. Today we sit down with Merritt Vaughn. Merritt Vaughn is the owner and operator of Sonnys Backyard in Austin, Texas. He's been open just a little under a year now, and so he's kind of going through all those open, growing pains type stuff. And so I'm really excited to sit down with him and just kind of bend his ear on a few things. And hope you guys enjoy the video, and we'll catch y'all at the end.
Oh, just late night last night, man. We had our second show here at Sonnys last night, and it got a little crazy. So the cleanup and everything took us a little longer, and yeah, I wasn't in bed till like 4. So.
Dude, that's insane, man. I'm like 7:30. I'm done. I'm out, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I'm an old guy now. Well, dude, thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate you taking time out of what you got going on to do this, man.
No, I'm happy to do it, man. Thanks for the invite. It's just good to see you and chat with you. It's been a while.
Dude, hot minute. Well, cool, man. Let's talk about Sonnys, man. How's that been going?
It's going pretty well, man. We're I guess 7 months in now. I think we're coming up on 8 months. So definitely still figuring things out day by day, but starting to get our groove a little bit. And yeah, man, I can't complain. It's been better than I anticipated so far. Not a home run by any means yet, but definitely not struggling as bad as I expected to in the first year operating a new restaurant, you know?
Well, you've operated restaurants before. What's the biggest difference you've seen, like from what you've used to operate to this?
I think that there's a lot of differences. I mean, this like post-pandemic situation is the way that we operate is very different than the way we did previously in terms of ordering and just the way that we do things. So like, before the pandemic, everything was very like person-to-person interactions. Everybody would order at my last business up at the bar, order all of the food, all of the drinks, everything. They would take a number and go back to wherever they were, and then our food runner would come find them. Now, probably 80% of our orders come through like QR code, order and pay situation with Toast. We see very, very little cash these days. It's all like, probably 97% credit card sales these days. It's just a very different flow, I would say. But it's good. It's actually, I think that it's a better system, honestly. It just took us a minute to get all that stuff kind of rolled out and figured out, you know?
Yeah. What do you think was the worst part for restaurant owners? Was it the pandemic or the staffing crisis we just went through 6 months ago, three or 4 months ago?
I think we're still going through it.
Yeah. Is it tough down there in Austin?
Oh, so tough, man. So tough to stay staffed. We just finally, I wouldn't say we're fully staffed, but we're like probably 75% staffed now, which is awesome. For the last 6 weeks, I mean, every single hour that we were open operating, I was either cooking or bartending. So that's fine, but it takes a lot of time away from actually running the business. Myself and my wife, we're the owner operators, we're the general managers. So when you're working on the line cooking or you're behind the bar bartending, you don't really get to do any of your administrative work, which you know how it goes. That leaves very little time to get things done that have to get done.
Yeah.
Outside of food service.
What would you consider fully staffed? What's that number look like for you guys?
For us, I mean, we run a pretty small crew right now. I think we're just 9 employees. But the thing is, we're only open Wednesday through Sunday night, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. in the kitchen, 5 p.m. to midnight in the bar. We'd like to open Friday, Saturday, Sunday during the AM, and then probably Tuesday night again. I think that's a good number of shifts for us to be open right now. in terms of business flow. And yeah, so that would mean probably another 4 or 5 employees. So yeah, by those numbers, I guess we're more like 65% staffed, not 75%, but we're in a lot better place than we were a month ago. So
Yeah.
it's just tough right now, man. And I'm sure you have experienced the same thing. It's just, you know, I feel like our staff's making good money, and especially good money for the type of work and the amount of work that they're doing, just comparatively to all of the restaurant jobs that I've ever worked and all of the people that I've staffed beforehand. But there's just not enough people out there to fill these jobs right now. So it seems like no matter how much money they make, it's still tough to get people in the door, you know, in terms of getting them interviewed and hired and keeping them around. But like I said, I'm very happy with where we're at right now, staffing wise, compared to a month ago.
Gotcha. So what was your like aha moment? So like for me, I've opened 2 restaurants now, and like for the first one, it was like the opening day, you see all the people and they're eating and having a good time. And then the second one was when I was like doing like the walk around, like when you're doing like facilities and stuff. So like what did you have like an aha moment? You're like, dude, this is my restaurant. Like this is insane.
Yeah, I tell people about that all the time. It's I have a lot of both nights, you know what I mean? Like I have a lot of like days where I'm like, man, what am I doing? Like this is crazy. This is, you know, insanely hard. And you know, it's feast or famine in the restaurant biz. So, you know, on those weeks or months where it's a little slower and you're working your butt off 7 days a week, it's like, man, what did I get into? And then there's nights like last night and Saturday night when we had bands here playing and the whole place is packed and, you know, everybody's humming and, you know, food's coming out quick, drinks are coming out quick, everybody's having a great time. And you look around and you're like, wow, this is my place, you know, this is awesome. And I think for me, at least, it's moments like those that remind me why I do this. I tell people all the time, you know, the restaurant business isn't for everybody. I think that you have to genuinely enjoy seeing somebody, like serving somebody a great meal or serving somebody a great beverage, in order to stick around in this business for the long haul. If you don't really enjoy those things, you know, you're going to burn out eventually. You know, no matter how good the money is for the amount of hours you work or what your reasoning is, you're going to eventually hate it. Because it's not easy, man. It's hard work. And yeah, you can teach anybody how to cook a dish or make a beverage, but you can't teach somebody how to enjoy cooking a dish or making a beverage. And if they don't enjoy it, then it's just not worth it in the long run, in my opinion.
It's got to be something in your blood, dude. Like it's got to be like a yes or no type thing. Because I mean, like you said, you could teach anybody how to make a cocktail or you know, make those loaded French fries that I looked up and they looked freaking bomb.com. You know, you can teach anybody that stuff, but like teaching people just like how to enjoy it, like that's all it is, right?
Yeah, that's the it factor, man. And like you said, it's something you either like or you don't, you know, it's not for everybody.
Yeah. How tough has it been like keeping up with all your like habits and stuff? Like, because I know you're like an avid runner and do all those things. Like how hard has it been doing that while facing staffing and a new restaurant and a wife and all those things?
That's a great question, man. I probably budget a little bit too much of my time for running, if I'm being completely honest. But there are certainly weeks where I don't get to hit my weekly mileage goal that I've set for myself. But it's a huge priority to me. My wife definitely knows that. And yeah, man, I think it's one of those things, if you really, really want to do something, you'll find time in your day to get it done. If it's there, you know, if the time's there, but you got to have priorities. And for me, my priorities are, you know, my relationship with my wife, my business, and then running is probably number 3.
Yeah.
So I just slot out a piece of my time every day. I think time management is super important. To answer your question in a logical way, time management is super important. I try every single night to lay out my day on my Google Calendar the day before, and I find that when I do that versus waking up and being like, all right, what do I have to get done today? I'm a lot more productive, and I can actually get things in, like, an hour and a half long run or something like that, versus the other way around, where you wake up and you're like, all right, what do I have to get done today again? And I feel like you lose, precious 30-minute, 45-minute increments just trying to figure out what you're supposed to get done when you don't have it laid out the night before. That's probably the biggest key, I would say. It's just being diligent about time management.
Yeah, I found myself, I have to wake up at 4, dude, because like once 7 o'clock hits, my phone is like nonstop. It's just ringing the entire day. And then it's like, and then I come home and it's 5 o'clock and now it's wife time. And I'm like, hey babe, can you do this? Honey do list, all the things. And so, that's like, that's the only time I could do it. And even though I used to hate waking up early, and like, that was like always, I was just like, that's ridiculous. It was like, now it's more like my peace and quiet time. I'm like, my phone's not blowing up and I'm just by myself in the gym.
Yeah. I am definitely much more of a morning person than a late night person. Which makes me hate my schedule right now because
Mr. 2 a.m. last night.
Dude, that was just when I was getting out of work. Yeah, I wasn't in bed until about 4. So that's not my natural habit, but it's just like I said, wife first, business second. Business demands that I'm up late, so I've got to move the rest of my schedule around to accommodate that. I will say that my situation is a little different than most people with a significant other that they're dedicated to spending a lot of time with, because my wife and I run this business together. We work together, 10 hours a day. And don't get me wrong, that's not quality time, and we definitely have to slot out quality time for each other. We try to once a week at least get out and go on a legitimate date, and turn our phones off, no work, don't even look at your phone, type of night. And I think that's been very helpful for us because we're both workaholics, and when you and your wife just worked a 12-hour shift together, and then you get home and you're having a late night dinner or a beer or whatever, and then you just keep talking about work 7 days a week, it can get a little old,
Yeah.
But we have a unique situation where we see each other a lot, but we still have to schedule quality time with one another, which again comes back to time management. It's just like, schedule it out. All right, on Tuesday night at 6 o'clock, we're going on a date, and we're not working or even talking about work the whole night,
Yeah. That's awesome, man. So what's the 10-year goal for you, man? What does Sonnys look like 5-10 years down the road? Is it going to be concerts every night? And
10 years down the road, man, that's a very good question. I have a year from January 1 goal, and then I have a 5-year goal. And then I don't necessarily have a 10-year goal for Sonnys. I'm looking at 5 years at a time right now, mainly because our lease is a 5-year lease with a 5-year option. So my goal is to get it to the point in 5 years where it's revenue-wise self-sustaining, and we can go on and hopefully have 2 or 3 other locations, maybe not 2 or 3 more Sonnys backyards, but 2 or 3 more businesses that we're operating in the next 5 years. I'm kind of trying to mirror my Uncle Curtis and what my dad have done in their professional lives, which is diversifying their the way that they make money. And hopefully in the next 5 years I can start to take steps in that direction. I'm not going to try to get ahead of myself and get away from this place too quick. Like I said, I'm here every single hour that it's open right now. But yeah, long term, I would say my goals are to open more spots. But yeah, I guess that didn't really answer the question you asked me.
I mean, I love it. You kidding me?
Well, yeah, I don't know exactly what you're looking for answer wise there. I mean, for Sonnys, it's yeah, I have revenue numbers in my mind, and yeah, man, I think that if we had shows here every night, we'd get thrown out of this place eventually because we are right in the middle of a neighborhood.
Yeah.
I had to deal with an angry neighbor last night for the first time. Had to really talk him off the ledge because he was very heated.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that shows every night might not be the best idea for us. But hey,
I feel like it's Austin. Like that's the price you pay to live in Austin.
I know. And here's the thing: we the part of town we're in is very much still a neighborhood, and it's being developed like crazy. There's like 17 commercial developments within 1 square mile of our location right now, and we're just a few miles away from that big Tesla plant that's being built. So this side of town is the most heavily is in the most heavy development of any part of Austin right now. So there's still there's still people that have lived on this side of town for 40 years who are like pushing back against that, which is completely understandable. And I would probably do the exact same thing, because when I'm in my 50s and 60s and I'm living out in the burbs somewhere and trying to just sit on my porch and drink tea every night at 7 p.m., I don't really want, ruckus going on 7 days a week, 3 doors down either. But yeah, it's I want to respect the neighborhood, respect the people that have been here forever, and still try to make this place awesome and as profitable as possible and as cool as possible, and all those things.
Dude, I love Austin, man. There's so much stuff to do down there. That's where I proposed to my wife, was in Austin, and it was.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I proposed right in the Capitol building.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, or right outside it. So I mean, we went down there because I lived down there for about a year one time.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I spent
Where'd
a
you
year
live?
down there. I lived in South Austin. I wish I would have went North Austin, but because that's where like all the stuff Arboretum, all that's kind of where I used to hang out at, was all the fun stuff going on up there.
Okay.
Cool. But yeah, man, I love freaking all that stuff. Well, cool, man. So, what other key habits do you think do the most for your success? I'm sure you have a lot of habits you do on a daily basis. And
man, I think that right now my big ones are habit-wise, just like I said, time management. Set out a schedule for yourself every single night for the next day, and have goals for yourself, on a monthly and an annual basis. And long-term goals are good too, but I find that short-term goals, in terms of like, this is what I'm going to try to do tomorrow, and this is what I'm going to try to do over the next week, are more important in terms of taking steps towards long-term goals. Whether it's opening your first restaurant, or just trying to get in better shape. I think that those two things are super key. When we were looking at opening this place about a year ago, I was just setting weekly goals for myself for like administrative duties that I knew that we had to get done, like filing for an LLC, getting my EIN with the government, making sure that we had a corporate headquarters where all of the mail could get delivered to. These are all like, little things that a lot of people don't think about whenever they're looking to open a business. They're focused on like, what's the name going to be? What's the menu going to look like? What's the vibe going to be? But that side of the other side of the coin is super important too. Staying on top of paperwork for your liquor license and your health department inspections and all of that kind of stuff. Just, I think that setting daily and weekly goals to me is a little bit more important than long-term goals. Because if you keep taking small steps in the right direction every single day and every single week, you're going to cover a lot of ground.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if you're on top of yourself time management wise, you're actually going to hold yourself accountable to get those things done. See it pop up on your phone every day. All right, it's 10 a.m. It's time to go run. And then at 11 a.m. I'm doing my cash reconciliation, filling out my weekly report sheet, analyzing food costs and beverage costs. And then,
at 12, all that up yourself? I'm assuming you did.
On the paperwork side, or?
Yeah. I mean, do you just like have like Excel spreadsheets on top of Excel spreadsheets pretty much?
A little bit. Yeah. I try to consolidate those as much as possible. I think that the more sheets you're filling out, the more confusing it gets. But yeah, we run with Toast as our POS, and it has a great daily sales breakdown that it sends you. So I used to fill out a daily sales sheet back in the day before we were running Toast. I don't do it daily anymore just because Toast sends me all those numbers and I can keep an eye on them. But then, yeah, I have a weekly prime cost report that I actually got from a guy named Dave Allred. He's got a YouTube channel called The Real Barman. And he's got a great inventory system called Bar Patrol. And he has these daily, weekly, and monthly cost report sheets that you can buy on his website for like 10 or 20 bucks. They're excellent Excel spreadsheets. And the weekly one is about prime costs. So it's your cost of goods sold plus your labor. And yeah, I just try to keep those things measured on a weekly basis, because if you're only looking at them once a month, it's a lot harder to nail down problems. Like, why is our food cost up 5% week over week versus why was our food cost up 5% over the entire month? It's just a lot easier to identify and fix problems whenever you're doing weekly sheets. But yeah, man, I'd be happy to send you over that Excel spreadsheet or link you to Dave Allred if you've never heard of him.
Oh yeah, no, I'm like new to this whole like YouTube podcast. I really was just like bored one day and I was like, dude, what's a better use of my time than watching Netflix for 8 hours today? And so I was like, let's just start talking to people and people who like at least want to do more with themselves, right? So we kind of just started this whole deal, man, and it just now it's like kind of snowballed to the point where I'm getting like legit people who want to do the podcast. Like, yeah, I'd love to do something like that. And you're like, really? That's insane. Seeing as how it's just me sitting in my kitchen right now, but
yeah, that's awesome, man.
But
yeah, I think that's super cool. And I love that you're trying to give back to the community a little bit, just by doing these kind of interviews. I love this kind of stuff, this kind of content on YouTube or wherever, just whether it's trying to learn more about running, trying to learn more about business, trying to learn more about food and beverage. I'm huge on this kind of stuff. So I think it's really cool what you're doing, man.
Yeah, man. That's awesome, brother. Well, we're right at about 30 minutes, man. I won't take up too much more of your time, man. I appreciate the time, but you coming down for Christmas or are you staying down there?
I'm down here, man. I don't know when the next time I'll be back in Amarillo is, but luckily almost my dad's whole side of the family is going to be out here for like 4 or 5 days during Christmas. They got a big old Airbnb. And so I'll get to see everybody. And I don't know if you know this, but all my sisters have had, like 2 of my sisters have had 3 kids, and my little sister just had her first.
Right.
And 3 of those babies I haven't even met yet because they've all been born in the time that we've opened Sonnys.
Oh, God.
And I haven't had time to go do anything. I know. Between my wife and I, we have 19 nieces and nephews. So,
dude, Christmas is going to be wheels off, dude. Just get the gift cards ready.
I'm telling you, man, we start budgeting this thing out like 6 months in advance.
How about a Sonny's gift card? Is that what you want for Christmas?
Wow. Yeah, Sonny's gift card to my 6-month-old nephew.
There you go.
He'd love it.
Yeah. Well, awesome, brother. Well, thanks so much for your time, man. I'll let you get back to cleaning up all those beer bottles from last night.
Thanks, Tyler.
All right, man. Well, I'll let you later, brother.
All right. Bye.
And what an awesome conversation with Merritt. The dude's energy just is infectious, right? I really, again, appreciate his time of all the stuff he's got going on, and I really appreciate you guys for watching. So, like, comment, subscribe, do all those things, and we'll catch you on the next video. Thank you so much.